This is what the internet world we live in. And if you think we're going to just pick out everybody and talk shit about them and then blame Indiana Fever fans and then come to find out it's not even them.
That's the nasty part. That's the actual real nasty part is Chelsea Gray tried to frame it as these are Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever fans. You have been getting them type of messages weeks before other games.
The polished images broadcasted across our screens yesterday evening presented nothing but a masterfully orchestrated deception. At the exact moment countless supporters were jumping off their couches and network lenses locked onto Caitlin Clark beaming after delivering the most spectacular first-year showcase in league memory. A deeply unsettling treachery was brewing quietly among the Indiana Fever reserves. We all assumed the era of petty detractors had concluded. Yet, what do you do when your primary adversary isn't shouting from the bleachers, wearing a rival jersey, or spewing hot takes on a daytime panel? Imagine your ultimate obstacle, the architect actively plotting to derail your surge and extinguish your shine, is the very individual holding the clipboard. A massive, undeniable revelation just emerged from the inner circle of the Fever organization, painting a grim picture. While Clark was dominating the floor, smashing historical benchmarks, and prompting sports anchors to literally draft new narratives live on air, her own leadership group was scheming to sideline her. They desperately wanted to kill her historic run and snatch her rightful glory. If that sounds like sensationalized fiction, wait until you process the blistering remarks from basketball icon Candace Parker, who unleashed a televised tirade to broadcast this poisonous mutiny to the masses. To truly comprehend the audacity of this internal backstabbing, you must first acknowledge the sheer brilliance Clark displayed on the court. This was far beyond a standard hot streak from a newcomer. It was an awe-inspiring exhibition of athletic supremacy that fundamentally shattered the league status quo.
As so far as saying, Stephanie White, trainers, you know you better not pull me out this game. You know you better not pull me out this game. So minutes restriction for Wednesday's game shouldn't be here. But unfortunately, leave it up to Stephanie, Methany, Heffany White to not give us a finite answer. She doesn't give us the answer that we want. When asked about Caitlin Clark being on minutes restriction, Stephanie White apparently hasn't made up her mind. I really am tired of this minutes restriction circus, this minutes restriction parade.
Stepping onto the hardwood, she immediately launched strikes from ranges that defy basic logic, casually dismantling untouchable milestones as if they were brittle branches. Her impact wasn't merely padding the box score, it fundamentally warped how the game is spatially played. This showcase was so overwhelmingly commanding, striking such deep fear into the opposition that network executives were forced into a frantic scramble, hijacking their own scheduled feed to deliver a monumental update mid-action. Veteran sports personalities stared straight into their monitors and finally articulated what the stubborn critics had feared saying aloud for an eternity. Caitlin Clark is the unquestioned marquee attraction, the vital pulse of the organization, and the sole reason viewership is skyrocketing. Every single historical ledger at the main office will require a permanent revision featuring her signature in bold permanent ink. She did not just quiet the skeptics, she sent them packing. The arena faithful screamed her moniker with such ferocity that the actual stadium foundation vibrated. Yet amid this historic coronation celebrated by thousands, the atmosphere radiating from her own sideline remained deeply sinister, steeped, music, in envy, and thoroughly corrupted.
We have Caitlin Clark. There wasn't a picking the best, the most popular player, but clear anti-Fever agenda. Now, I believe they might have tweeted this before news came out that Caitlin Clark actually declined that, but I don't know if Sophie would have turned it down. Now, we don't know if they invited Sophie, but I'm pretty sure Sophie is definitely going to respond to this. You know what I'm saying? I do know Sophie do respond to people. If we like add her a bunch of times on Twitter, try to see why, like, got to be something we could do. Sophie Cunningham as of right now is 43%, Aaliyah Boston 46, Kelsey Mitchell 42. Wow, bro. So technically Aaliyah Boston is the best 3-point shooter.
At the precise instant she was torching nets and delivering an absolute masterclass, a revolting truth began seeping out to the media gallery, bulletins originating straight from the stadium corridors. Intel currently short-circuiting social media platforms and overwhelming digital networks exposed a leadership staff gripped by utter terror. The most unbelievable aspect of this entire ordeal is the root cause of their anxiety. The coaching staff wasn't sweating because the team was dropping the contest. They were spiraling into a meltdown simply because their rookie sensation was growing exponentially famous, rising too swiftly and wielding far too much influence.
On the bench and watch us lose this game. We had a 12-point lead when I went out in the third and in the second, and y'all blew it with me on the bench. I'm not coming out. Let's take a look at what Caitlin Clark had to say.
Minutes restriction the last couple of nights. You got 25 tonight. Was there any conversation about coming out of that game, or you kind of like don't even come in?
Steph knows better than that. Trainers know better than that. They would get an earful.
She said Stephanie White know better than that. The trainers know better than that. I would have tore their ass up. I'd have gave them an earful. People would have been getting cussed out if they would have tried to pull me up. She wasn't going for it. This is Caitlin Clark standing on business, giving them that look. I don't give a damn what them minutes. They say 25 minutes up there on the Jumbotron.
Driven by unadulterated professional envy, incredibly brittle pride, and an absolute unwillingness to watch a newcomer eclipse their strategic playbook, the staff attempted to pull the emergency brake on the most electrifying spectacle in sports. They frantically sought to cap her playing time without a shred of medical or tactical reasoning. Coming out of huddles, they drew up nonsensical, utterly useless formations intentionally engineered to freeze her out of the scoring sequence. They forcefully maneuvered to banish her to the pine at the exact second she hovered a single conversion away from cementing an unshakable legacy. This amounted to a ruthless, premeditated, and completely inexcusable campaign of subversion. The leadership desperately needed to assert their dominance over the franchise hierarchy, willingly sacrificing a once-in-a-century spectacle that attendees had shelled out massive fortunes to witness. However, authentic brilliance operates by its own rules. You cannot simply cap an exploding geyser. Armed with an unparalleled tactical intellect, Clark recognized the sideline's malicious intentions instantly. Music, she completely bypassed their poisonous restrictions, commanded possession of the rock, dictated the pace, and unleashed a legendary unstoppable barrage on the opposition. Anyway,
Gold medals in the Victim Olympics. Meanwhile, they're doing that. Caitlin Clark is continuing to set the standard, raise the bar for the future of women's basketball, for the new star, for the Juju Watkins, for the Hannah Hidalgos, for the Sarah Strongs, for all of the new young players that are going to walk into this league. Caitlin Clark setting the standard, creme de la creme. Now, we have to get in some other things because obviously, you know, it's so much going on. You had Becky Hammond come out and speak about the Sandy Brondello, Angel Reese situation, and she claims she just wants to get back to basketball. Ironically enough, that's all Caitlin Clark has been doing. She ain't been running around on social media inciting fans. She ain't been doing all of that. She's just been trying to get healthy, get off minutes restriction, and hoop. Okay, but meanwhile, y'all want her to run around and participate in these Victim Olympics and speak on this, speak on that. She already spoke on everything. Meanwhile, she continues to get blamed for everything. I'm not sure who this gentleman is, but I think he laid some things out very well here. Let's take a look.
Caitlin Clark, you got to denounce everything. Denounce this, denounce that. It's your fault for everything. You're the blame for everything. None of this stuff happened until you came in the league. Or maybe nobody watched the fucking league until she came in the league. And
that evening, she managed to conquer not only the opposing roster, but also the bitter scheming of her own mentor. Yet, my friend, this narrative stretches far beyond the final buzzer. The authentic, undisputed titans of the hardwood community are seething with anger, absolutely refusing to bite their tongues regarding this flagrant slight. The moment basketball royalty and celebrated champion Candace Parker witnessed the appalling tactics utilized by the Indiana leadership, she bypassed the usual cryptic social media posts or disappearing digital updates. Instead, she strode directly onto a national broadcast desk and unleashed an unrelenting, scorched earth verbal assault aimed squarely at the organization's sideline personnel.
Yeah, kiss my behind. Single best thing to ever happen to women's sports, and it's not close. The face of the league on a minutes restriction. Folks, absolutely disgusting what Caitlin Clark did last night. The Fever record shop just keeps swinging away. Just keeps swinging away. The face of the league, yeah, this is Robert Griffin comes right out. Caitlin Clark is the face of the league. She just had 45 and 10 with 4 steals, 2 blocks, shot 11 for 18, 6 and 10 from 3-point range in 29 minutes with a plus 16. It was exciting. Clark is undoubtedly the most popular player in the WNBA, a record-breaking great player on and off the court. There is no denying that. Absolutely no denying that. We have Dave Portnoy chiming back in. Caitlin the Great with 45, 10, 6 and 10 from 3. The game of the year. She's box office. She is the league. She is the moment. They hate her because they ain't her. bow down to her. Oh gosh, bow down to her. Who should tell? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Damn, bow down, Kareem. Bow down, Kathy Engelbert. She is the queen of the WNBA. If you disagree, you have no.
Tossing the teleprompter aside, Parker locked eyes with the viewing audience and transmitted a terrifyingly blunt warning to the detractors and the poisonous executives attempting to cage their rising phenomenon. She refused to soften the blow, declaring that you never undermine a transcendent prodigy. You absolutely do not sideline the exact individual responsible for injecting millions into the corporate coffers and packing stadiums from coast to coast. After thoroughly cementing the rookie status on the grandest possible platform, she fiercely championed the historical achievement while simultaneously laying bare the comical ineptitude of anyone trying to suppress the most lucrative attraction in contemporary athletics. It served as the paramount undisputed curtain closer in broadcasting history. Whenever a decorated veteran of her caliber delivers that kind of fiery conviction, the collective athletic realm pauses and pays close attention. With a single appearance, she terminated the era of the critics on live television, completely obliterated the leadership's reputation, and formally anointed the sensational guard as entirely invincible. This rookie has endured viciously aggressive hits from resentful veterans, navigated the endless, envious gossip from peers, and has now spectacularly overcome a ruthless, calculated mutiny orchestrated from her own sidelines. The history books are now definitively hers, and the window for her detractors has been slammed shut forever.
Her 7th technical foul because we got bums on the Connecticut Sun. Diamond Miller, you played a good game. You talking trash. You're down 30. You fouling Caitlin Clark after the whistle. When we walk into our benches for timeouts, you're still grabbing and fouling. All this stuff. You got Sanaya Rivers trash talking. You down 30. Look at the scoreboard. Caitlin Clark told her, look at the scoreboard, bum. Caitlin Clark gets a 7 technical. Check this out.
And the jawing continuing.
He told her, look at the scoreboard. You doing all that trash talking. Look at the scoreboard. Sanaya Rivers was the one starting all of that. Caitlin Clark gets a bogus 7 technical foul. Trash talking, and you down by 30. You down by 30, Sanaya Rivers. You look like a straight clown. Straight clown. You down by 30. You getting belt to ass, but you talking trash. That's why you're not good. That's why the Connecticut Sun stink. Like, it is what it is, man. Let's get into the stats for the Indiana Fever, because they played a hell of a game. The big three was on point, man. Aaliyah Boston, 22 points, 10 of 14. With her 22 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds in just 20 minutes. Kelsey Mitchell, 9 of 16, 3 of 6 from 3. She had 23 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. Caitlin the GOAT Clark, 27 points and 11 assists in just 27 minutes. Now, I'm telling you right now, if Caitlin Clark would have played in this fourth quarter.
Still, the most combustible inquiry lingers in the air. What on earth is the fate of the person in charge now that these recordings and insider dispatches have flooded the public domain? Must the executive suite intervene instantly to shield their foundational talent and terminate the instigator for trying to spoil basketball lore? Or has the team dynamic been shattered beyond any hope of reconciliation? You all know how we do this. I require you to unleash your unfiltered, honest opinions in the discussion section below right this second. Obliterate that thumbs up icon to demonstrate your allegiance. Crush the subscription button and activate those notifications so you never miss a single piece of our explosive coverage. We will absolutely catch you in the next wild breakdown.